Alright y'all, it's your boy Adrian the Goat, and today we're going to be looking at the best One Piece Funko Pops. So, let's get started.
I took 32 random One Piece Funko Pops and put them into a bracket for the people on my Discord server to vote for the best One Piece Funko Pop. And man, did things get really interesting. But before we get into today's video, I want to talk about today's video sponsor, which is Drip Shop Live. Drip is a live auction app and website where you can buy and sell Funko Pops. Well, not just Funko Pops, but also trading cards, video games, and much more. There's a large selection of different things to choose from on their app, and if you sign up using my link on the description of this video, you can get anywhere from $10 to $250 when first signing up. I've done 2 live streams so far, and I plan to do another one next month. These live streams have got giveaways for some pretty cool pops, and also on these live streams, I do sell a lot of Funko Pops starting at $1. So don't miss out on any of my future live streams. Use my link in the description of this video to download Drip and follow me on the app at Ride the Pop Guy. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's go take a look at all the contestants that we have for the best One Piece Funko Pop ever made. Starting off with Zoro Enma, Trafalgar Law with Rune, Gear 5 Luffy, Marco, Armored Luffy, Ace, Sanji, Usopp, Doflamingo, Gear 4 Luffy, Wano Zoro, Jinbei, Samurai Brook, Buggy the Clown, Katakuri, Caesar Clown, Nothing Happened Zoro, Sniper King, Mihawk, Armored Chopper, Crocodile, Frankie, Gear 5 Luffy, Luffy Taro, Odin, Shanks, Kid, Carrot, Whitebeard, Yamato, Goldie Roger, and finally, the best for last, Tony Chopper. There's a lot of One Piece Funko Pops that I didn't include in this video, and that's because all of these 32 Funko Pops were picked out at random. That's why there's like a lot of ones that are missing, like Nami or Robin. I would have definitely included those ones in this bracket, but I chose all 32 of these at random because there's just so many One Piece Funko Pops I could choose, and I also only limited it to only 4-inch Funko Pops because there is a lot of oversized Funko Pops that are part of the One Piece line that I think would be candidates for like the best One Piece Funko Pop, but I didn't include them because I just think that's unfair because these bigger pops just always have a lot more detail and they just look better. But yeah, let's move on to round 1. Don't forget to be voting as we're doing this video as well. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you disagree with or even agree with. Starting off round 1, we have Zoro versus Trafalgar Law, and this one had a winner by a lot. The votes were 47 to 12 in favor of Zoro. Then we have Gear 5 Luffy versus Marco, and the votes were very close for this one, but Marco came out on top with 32 votes against 31. Armored Luffy against Ace, the votes were 46 to 11 in favor of Armored Luffy. Sanji versus Usopp, and the votes were in favor of Sanji, 54 to 8. Doflamingo versus Gear 4 Luffy, and the votes were in favor of Gear 4 Luffy with 52 to 8. Zoro versus Jinbei, and the votes were in favor of Zoro with 48 votes to 13. Samurai Brook against Buggy, with Buggy winning with 43 votes against 16. Katakuri against Caesar Clown, and Caesar Clown won with 41 votes against 20. Nothing Happened Zoro against Sniper King, and Nothing Happened Zoro won with 55 votes against 7. Mihawk versus Armored Chopper, and Mihawk won with 40 votes against 20. Crocodile against Frankie, and Crocodile won with 37 votes against 25. I'm very surprised about this one. How did Frankie get eliminated so early? The new Gear 5 Luffy versus Luffy Taro, and of course the new Gear 5 Luffy won with 55 votes against 6. Odin versus Shanks, and this has to be the biggest winner in today's video. Shanks won with 59 votes against 4. Kid against Carrot, and Kid won with 50 votes against 9. Whitebeard versus Yamato. Whitebeard won with 40 votes against 20. And Goldie Roger against Tony Chopper with 34 votes against 25 in favor of Tony Chopper. And that concludes round 1. There's a lot of questionable decisions made here. Personally, for me, I would have definitely taken the Goldie Roger over Tony Chopper. I don't know if that's a controversial take at all. I'm surprised Frankie lost to Crocodile, like I mentioned earlier as well. Doflamingo lost by a lot to Gear 4 Luffy. I didn't know Gear 4 Luffy was that popular. I really thought Doflamingo was going to put up a good battle at least. But yeah, out of 32 pops, 16 were eliminated, 16 move on to the next round. So let's go take a look at round 2. Starting off round 2, we have a very good battle. We got Marco against Zoro Enma. I love that Marco Funko Pop. It's easily one of my favorite One Piece Funko Pops, but unfortunately it did lose to Zoro with 38 votes against 19. Armored Luffy against Sanji. Sanji won with 47 votes against 11. Gear 4 Luffy against Zoro. Gear 4 Luffy won with 47 votes against 10. Buggy versus Caesar Clown. Buggy won with 46 votes against 10. Nothing Happened Zoro against Mihawk, and Zoro won with 42 votes against 14. Crocodile against the new Gear 5 Luffy. Gear 5 Luffy won with 53 votes against 7. Shanks against Kid. Shanks won with 34 34 votes against 24. And finally, Whitebeard against 2020 Chopper. Whitebeard won with 38 votes against 22. Another interesting round with some questionable decisions. What do you guys think about this round? 8 pops were eliminated and 8 pops move on to the next round. So let's go take a look at round 3. Starting off round 3, we have a great battle between Mosshead and Eyebrow. Unfortunately for all you Eyebrow fans, Sanji did lose with 14 votes against 62. Gear 4 Luffy versus Buggy the Clown, and Buggy the Clown lost with 23 votes against 50. Let's get a rip in the chat for Buggy. I honestly thought he was going to win the whole thing. That's such a cool pop. Then we have nothing happened Zoro against new Gear 5 Luffy. Gear 5 Luffy won with 58 votes to 18. And finally, Shanks against Whitebeard. Shanks won with 53 votes against 19. I'm honestly very surprised Shanks even made this far.
Whitebeard has more.
It is a really cool pop. Don't get me wrong, it's a very cool pop. But personally, I think there's some better One Piece Funko Pops than Shanks. 4 pops were eliminated and 4 pops move on to the next round. So let's go take a look at round 4. Starting off this round, we had a very tough battle between Gear 4 Luffy and Zoro Enma. And I must say, I had a hard time picking one to choose out of these two. Because these are two really cool figures. Zoro Enma has a lot of detail around it. One of my favorite scenes from the show when he first picks up that sword. And his arm like gets covered in hockey. It's just a really cool pop. Really cool character, really cool scene. I like it a lot. But then again, I could say the same thing for Gear 4 Luffy. When he first did that in the show, that was just so sick. And the pop looks even more awesome. I think that's great. But you guys had a pretty clear vote on the Discord server. The votes were 49 to 30 in favor of Zoro. I just thought it would be maybe a little bit closer for the Gear 4 Luffy. I don't know. I think it's a really cool pop though. And then the other matchup was between the new Gear 5 Luffy and Shanks. And like I said earlier, I'm not sure why Shanks made it this far. There's a lot more cooler and better looking One Piece Funko Pops than Shanks. Maybe he had an easy path to success because the pops he was going against weren't like as crazy as some of the other One Piece pops. But yeah, you guys had a clear favorite for this one. Shanks lost with 15 votes against 63. And I can definitely see why that Gear 5 Luffy is seriously a very cool pop. I like it a lot. I'm surprised people are hating on that online, by the way. Can we talk about that? How are you guys hating on this pop? This pop is so sick and it's easily one of the best One Piece pops. Actually, scratch that. The best One Piece pop. That's a hill I'll die on. That they've been on a long time. Just look how cool it is. The pose, the smile. This is everything the first pop should have been. Also, if you're wondering, yes, I did get a haircut mid-video. I filmed the rest of the video yesterday, and then I got a haircut this morning. And I gotta say, I'm looking pretty sweet. But anyways, let's move on to round 5, the final round. And in this final round, we got a tough matchup between Zoro Enma and Gear 5 Luffy. Like I've said throughout the whole video, I've been talking highly about both of these pops. The Gear 5 Luffy pop is super innovative, and I definitely think it's one of the better pops that Funko has made in a long time. It's one that I will definitely be hunting for when that comes out. And Zoro Enma is also a very innovative pop with lots of detail around it. And just looks overall really cool. If I had to pick one of the two, I would probably go with Gear 5 Luffy. And it seems like you guys agreed with me on the Discord server because the votes were in favor of Luffy 61 to 29, making this Gear 5 Luffy the best One Piece Funko Pop ever made, according to my Discord server. Is there anything you disagreed with or agreed with in this video? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I just ordered a bunch of One Piece Funko Pops recently. I don't want to let you guys know what I got just yet. I don't want to spoil the video. But I did get some One Piece Funko Pops for my collection, and if you guys want to watch that video, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, with post notifications on so you don't miss the video. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you to everyone that participated on the Discord server as well. I appreciate all you guys for watching so much, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. I took 32 random One Piece Funko Pops and I put them into a vote to let you fans decide on what the best One Piece Funko Pop is. And let me tell you, things got pretty interesting. I do votes like this one all the time on my Discord server, Everything Funko. If you missed out on this vote and you don't want to miss out on any future votes, make sure you join the Discord. There's a link in the description of this video. I actually have done a One Piece vote already on my channel, but honestly, there's so many One Piece Funko Pops, and that video came out 2 years ago. There's been so many new ones since then. I figured I should probably do a new one, and that's why we're here today. I have 32 One Piece Funko Pops, all different from the Funko Pops I chose for the first vote video that I did 2 years ago. And all of these Funko Pops were picked out at random, since like I mentioned, there is so many One Piece Funko Pops. But yeah, with all that being said, the 32 Funko Pops I chose were Luffy, Usopp, Arlong, Kid, Killer, Blackbeard, Akainu, Beppo, Smoker, Ace, Chopper, Vegapunk, Roblucci, Kuzan, Rayleigh, Edison, Dragon, Nami, Boa Hancock, Roblucci, Shanks, Sabo, Kizaru, Brook, Corzon, Ivankov, Kuma, Gear 5 Luffy, Garp, Orobi, Zoro, and finally Chopper.
Garp.
As you can see, we have a lot of really cool Funko Pops for today's video.
Garp,
Out of
Sabo,
those
or
32
Ace?
Pops I just showed you, who do you think is going to win? Let me know who you think in the comments down below. And don't forget to be playing along with the votes in today's video.
Maybe,
let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below as we go through all the votes. With all that being said, let's get right into round number 1. Round 1 kicks off with a great battle between the two pre-time skip Funko Pops of Luffy and Usopp. And the votes were not close at all. It was a 99 vote difference in favor of Luffy. Luffy won with 105 votes to 6. Then it was Arlong up against Kid, and I like both of these Funko Pops a lot. These are two Funko Pops I actually have in my One Piece Funko Pop collection, and I think both of them are just so cool. But I would have to give the slight edge to Kid just due to how cool they made his devil fruit powers look. And you guys agreed with me because there was a 70 vote difference. Kid won with 90 votes to 20. Then it was Killer up against Blackbeard, and I think this one is very surprising how it turned out. Honestly, I thought Blackbeard was going to make it all the way to the end, but Blackbeard actually lost here with 40 votes to 69. Then it was Akainu up against Beppo, and I think I said Akainu, but I think the box actually says Sakazuki on it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Either way, we have two awesome Funko Pops right here. I have Beppo in my collection. I don't have Sakazuki though. I like Beppo a lot, but the better Pop here is obviously Akainu. And unfortunately, Beppo lost with 33 votes to 79. Then it was Smoker up against Ace, and Ace lost with 21 votes to 90. Also a very surprising one, Ace being a fan favorite for many. So I'm very surprised to see that he honestly didn't put up much of a battle here up against Smoker. Smoker is really cool though. I think the design is awesome. I really like when the Funko Pops for the One Piece line are showcasing the devil fruits, similar to the Kid earlier. Then it was Chopper up against Vegapunk, and Vegapunk lost with 13 votes to 95. It wasn't even close. Very fitting matchup right here. Two mainly egghead characters right here. Then it was Rob Lucci up against Aokiji Kuzan, I think the box says. And actually, Rob Lucci lost this with 49 votes to 61. Very surprising to me. But yet again, it's one of those Funko Pops where they're using the devil fruit powers, so the pop is going to look a little bit cooler than the other one. Then it was Rayleigh up against Edison. And honestly, the votes were not close at all here. Edison lost with 23 votes to 87. Then it was Dragon up against Nami, and Dragon won with 81 votes to 30. Then it's Boa up against Rob Lucci in his beast form. Two absolutely killer Funko Pops right here. Both of these Funko Pops have so much detail and they're awesome. In the end though, Rob Lucci beast form won with 69 votes to 40. It wasn't really close. Almost a 30 vote difference. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that one was gonna be pretty even. Then it was Shanks up against Sabo, and both of these I believe are Pop plus Pops. I know Shanks is, I think Sabo might not be. Either way, votes here were so far apart. Shanks won with 97 votes to 9. Wow, I gotta feel bad for Sabo, but Shanks is the better Pop. Then it was Borsalino up against Brook, and Brook won with 66 votes to 42. This one is very surprising to me. I know Borsalino is one of the more favorable admirals in the show, and I know he had a very important part in the recent part of the show, so I'm very surprised to see that he lost here. But also, it is up against Brook, one of the more favorable characters from the show. Then it was Corazon up against Ivankov, and Corazon won with 58 Funko Pops to 46. I think both those Pops look great, and honestly, I was expecting just that for it to be a pretty even vote. Only a 12 vote difference, that is pretty close, and that could have gone either way. But both of those Funko Pops are just so cool, and I really want to get both of them for my collection. Anytime you see me pointing over there, it's because my One Piece Funko Pops are over there. I should have had them in the background for the video. I don't know why I didn't think about that. It's a little late for that now. Then it was Kuma up against Gear 5 Luffy, the new Gear 5 Luffy exclusive to GameStop, and I think that one is easily the best out of all of them they've made. They've made so many Gear 5 Luffys, and that has to be for sure the best. And that Luffy won with 98 votes to 13. It wasn't really close. Then it was Garp doing Galaxy Impact up against Orobi, or Robin from the Wano arc, and Garp won with 99 votes to 9. And I have to say, I totally agree with that. That Funko Pop is crazy. So much detail on that Funko Pop. It is honestly insane. The action, the pose, everything about that is awesome. And then finally, it was Zoro up against Chopper. Zoro, of course, won with 89 votes to 29. Honestly, is anyone surprised here? Not really. That Zoro Funko Pop, just like Garp, it's insane. It's on a different level. But yeah, with that being said, that concludes round number 1. 16 Pops were just eliminated, and 16 Pops move on to the next round. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's get right into round number 2. Round 2 kicks off with a great battle between Luffy and Kid. And surprising here, Luffy actually lost with 38 votes to 66. Honestly, I say surprising just because it is Luffy, but that Kid Funko Pop is a lot better. Then it was Killer Killer up against Sakazuki. And the votes here also did really surprise me. I guess a lot of you guys are Killer fans. Killer won with 56 votes to 47. I think the mold on Sakazuki is better out of these two, so I would have to give my vote to Sakazuki. But Killer just keeps on surprising me. Then it was Smoker up against Chopper, and Chopper lost with 28 votes to 74. Aokiji up against Rayleigh, and Rayleigh lost with 23 votes to 79. Very surprising to me. Well, not that he lost, but I thought the votes would be a little bit closer. It's Rayleigh. I love Rayleigh. Then it was Dragon up against Robalucci Beast Form, and Dragon lost with 20 votes to 86. And honestly, this one's not surprising at all. That Robalucci Funko Pop is just so good. Shanks up against Brooke, and Brooke lost with 16 votes to 89.
Yeah,
also
so
not even close,
bro.
and this one also does make sense a lot. That Shanks Funko Pop is just so good. Corazon up against Gear 5 Luffy, and Luffy won with 85 votes to 17. Not even close. Yet another vote where it's like you're looking at the two pops and you just know which one's gonna win. But you know what I can't say that about is this final vote right here. This is insane. We have Garp up against Zoro. Both of these are killer Funko Pops. And honestly, the votes were not even close at all. I thought this one was gonna be pretty 50-50 considering how crazy both of these pops are.
It could have been like 50-50.
In the end though, Zoro ended up winning with 89 votes to 15. Not even close. And that concludes round number 2. What do you guys think so far? 8 pops were just eliminated and 8 pops move on to round number 3. Let's get right into round number 3. Round 3 kicks off with a great battle between Kid and Killer. Honestly, a very fitting battle right here. And Kid, the captain, ended up losing to one of his members of his crew. Killer won with 69 votes to 30. Very surprising here yet again. I know Kid is a fan favorite. I know Killer is too, but I didn't expect Killer to win this. Then it was Smoker up against Aokiji, and Smoker won with 80 votes to 18. Also another one that I didn't expect to make it all the way to the end. Smoker is a good pop, but honestly, some of the battles it's been in, I'm very surprised it's won. Then it was Robalucci Beast Form up against Shanks, and both of these are crazy Funko Pops right here. There was only an 11 vote difference, and Shanks won with 58 votes to 47. And then finally, it was Gear 5 Luffy up against Zoro, and Zoro won with 74 votes to 31. This one's very surprising to me considering how popular Gear 5 Luffy is. And this new Gear 5 Luffy is just so good. It's the best they've made for sure. But yeah, with that being said, that concludes round number 3. What do you guys think so far? Only 4 pops remain in round number 4. Let's get right into the next round. Round 4 starts off with a battle between Killer and Smoker. 2 pops, which I honestly did not think were going to make it this far. The votes here were not that close actually. Killer actually won with 75 votes to 44. Very surprising to me. Killer has made it to the finals. I can't believe it. And then it was Shanks against Zoro, and Zoro of course won this one with 93 votes to 26. Not even close. And with that round complete, we only have 2 pops remaining in the final round of the best One Piece Funko Pop vote. Killer up against Zoro. Who do you think's the better pop out of these two? Who do you think's gonna win? Let me know in the comments down below. In the end, the votes were not even close. Zoro won with 111 votes to 17, making this Zoro Funko Pop the best One Piece Funko Pop according to you guys.
Zoro was better. Alright, that was it for today. Remember to smile and adios.